welcome to Southern Trace Camping, where today we're coming to you from Cleburne State Park. Now, Cleburne State Park is located about an hour to hour and 15 minutes-ish south and a little bit to the west of Fort Worth. This is a fantastic park. It has a whole lot to offer, and just like most state parks in Texas, it kind of centers around a lake. Now, right now, we're getting ready to pull up here to the guard shack, and just after we get checked in at the guard shack, it's going to seem like I'm driving very, very fast through the park. I actually put the video in fast forward mode because it's about 2 to 3 miles back to the campsites, but I still wanted to give you a view of the park, just kind of give you a feel of what it's like driving through this park. Now, this park is not known for having great cell phone service. Back in the camping areas, you will probably have none. The people that we were with had AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile. None of us had service at the campsites. However, they do offer Wi-Fi at the campsites, but you have to be close to the bathhouse, and it's really Wi-Fi that's you're not going to be able to pull up like websites or anything. It's that slow. It's basically good enough to send text messages and just word text messages. If you're trying to send a picture, that's probably not going to happen. As we drive through here, you're going to see different places where cars are parked on the sides of the roads. Those are different trailheads where people park and go on the different trails. Now, as far as the trails go, I would highly recommend the Spillway Trail. If you're wanting to just do one that's easy, there's a lot of cool, and you saw some of the pictures there at the beginning of my video, there's a lot of cool waterfall looking areas that would normally have water in them and make a waterfall, but when we were there it was very dry, so that there wasn't any waterfalls going on. But when you're looking at your trail map, the number one is called the Spillway Trail, and right above that there's a Scenic Overlook, which is a pretty cool scene to get. One of the pictures at the beginning of the video had that photo from that overlook area. So that is a great spot to go and check out if you're hiking. Now, right there, we just passed that spot that is a scenic overlook of the lake that's right off the road. If you have to have cell service, you can pull to that spot, that little overlook over the lake, which I believe on their map is site number 4 on the trail map. It's just an overlook spot where you can pull and check out the lake. But you will have cell service there. The only reason I know is because we pulled there to take a few photos, and then I had like 500 text messages show up. So if you need to send messages or just let people know that you arrived at the park and that you're okay, that's where you'd want to do that at. Right here, there's a split coming up in the road, and the park kind of splits and goes around where the playground is. They have a fantastic playground, a fantastic I guess you'd just call it a reunion style building where you can have family reunions. There's a big, almost like dance floor behind it where there's a big fireplace, and I guess you could use that for whatever you wanted. They do offer kayak and canoe rentals at that place. I mean, that's where you would get them, in that building that's right there. And then to the left is the playground and a volleyball court. They do have an ice cream machine there that sells ice cream as well, if that's something that you're interested in. So that area right there had a lot of traffic through it just because there was so much to do. And I'll put a picture of the playground on this video here at the end. Now, right now we slowed down and we're getting ready to pull through Cedar Grove Camping Loop. Now, all of these sites were a little bit smaller, and they are water and electric only. They do not have the sewer. What I did notice was the sites on the right seem to be a lot more level and more user-friendly, and they all provided a pretty good amount of shade. It's just the ones on the left, they kind of rotate back up. I say rotate, they kind of roll up towards the road, so they're not as even, not as level. So you're going to have to do a little bit more finagling if you get loops, the sites that are on the left side of this loop. So those would be sites 2, 4, 6, 8, and 13. That's on the inside. And on the outside of the loop is sites 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, and 16. That makes up the Cedar Grove loop. And as you can see, it offers a lot of shade, so it wouldn't be bad to have that. It's just you will not have the sewer hookups. Right now we're going to take a right, and we're going to kind of drive past an area. You can kind of see it over here on the right, and this is where they have their screen shelters, and it looked to me like they had a few cabins that actually might have air conditioners and stuff like that, but I did not actually go through there and explore that up close because most of them were full, and I didn't want to seem weird just pulling up and checking these places out with people in them. So if you know friends that are wanting to go, they do offer that. So next loop we're gonna pull into in just a moment is Shady Springs, and Shady Springs is sites 17 through 22, and really all of them are about equal. It's a very small loop that's kind of on the corner, on one of the main corner curves as you go through the park, and we're turning into that now. And as you can see, most of the sites, they're pretty much all going to be about the same. Nothing special. Again, this is water and electric only. When we leave this, we're going to take a right, and we're going to end up in the North Creek Loop, which to me is the best loop because it has the full hookups. It is only 30 amp though. It was not 50. So it's 30 amp water and electric and sewer. Now this loop, to me, the reason it's the best is because it offers a ton of shade for almost all the campsites that are here. It has a big open area out here on the left hand side by the bathhouse. There was a lot of people playing football and running dogs and just doing all kinds of fun stuff. It's a good straight stretch for riding bicycles. And overall, it was just the best. And to me, the best sites in here were sites probably 35, 36, 37, and 38, and 39. Just because the creek came right up to the back of your sites. It was about 10, 12 yards behind your site. So there's a lot of trails by that creek for kids to run up and down and check things out. I do advise, if you're there in the summertime, that you watch out for snakes back there because it is water, and just be mindful of that if you're going to turn kids loose. Make sure they have good rubber boots and stuff like that so they don't get bit by a snake. We did not see any. Of course, we're there in January, so we probably wouldn't. There's a big area right at the end of that loop that's out there for big open camping. That was a big Boy Scout group that was there. And when you come out of this loop, you take a right. And the last loop that we're going to go through is called Popular Point. And I'm starting a little bit before this just to kind of show you when we take this turn, I'm trying to capture the effect where you can see this drops down at a pretty good drop. So if you have a big trailer, I don't know, you may drag. I think my trailer would actually have drug a little bit coming down that little drop there. You couldn't tell it much in the video, but there is a drop there. Now, pretty much the majority of these sites had access to the lake where you could launch a kayak, except for sites 51, 52, and 54. There was a lot of sawgrass and stuff like that was out there in the way where you couldn't launch a kayak. When I slowed down and really looked through this loop, site 57 may have the best access to the lake and shade, but it seemed like it was a shorter site and it was very unlevel, but it had so much shade and such great access to the water that it might be worth it to have to just really spend a lot of time leveling your trailer. That site may be worth it, but sites 44, 45, 46, 48, and 49 also were great sites that were not as shaded, but they did offer you access to the lake. They just didn't offer quite as much shade. So when you leave that loop, basically you're at the end of the park right here. We just kind of go up here and we do a turnaround, and then you're heading back towards the front of the park. And I will jump over here to the map and just kind of show you the way that we came through everything. The bathrooms here were really, really clean. They were worn, but they were clean, except for the ones by the playground. They had been updated, and they were very, very clean. So anyway, guys, I hope this information helps you plan a better trip. And one other thing, we only picked up 2 television stations over our antenna. So anyway, hope this information helps you. And let's jump over here to the map, and I'll show you a little bit more on the map. Alright, so we came into the park from this direction. We checked in at the headquarters, and then I put it in fast forward, and we cruised all down through here. Now this was the point I was telling you about where you can get the good cell phone service. There's a big hill right here, and it's right over the top of that hill that there you'll see the little pull off there. We came on down this direction, and right here was the park and the pavilion area that you can rent stuff, and they had the ice cream and all that kind of good stuff, volleyball. This was the main area. There was a boat launch and some fishing trails through this site, right through here also. But we went through this Cedar Grove loop, and like I was saying, these were the sites on the outside that seemed to be a little bit better. The inside are still doable, just not as level. And then we came out of there, drove past all the screen shelters, and we cut through right here. Instead of taking the main road around, we just cut through right there and immediately cut into this loop, which I thought was the best. North Creek was the best. Now, we probably, if we were there in the summer, would have picked the Popular Point area, but we were there in January, and we didn't want all that cold wind coming off the lake and making us freezing cold. So again, I think that sites probably 36, 37, 38, 39 were probably your best sites with the easiest access to this creek right back here. I did not go through Keyhole. It was basically you're going up a hill right here, and all of these sites were very unlevel and very small. The only thing I saw in there were tent campers. I did not see a single RV up there, so I did not cover that. And you do have a dump station that's right here. But when we left North Creek, we took a right, and instead of videoing that 3/4 of a mile, I just started the video about right here where I turned into this Popular Point. Again, sites number 54, 52, and 51 were the ones that I noted that had sawgrass that was real thick right through here, where you couldn't actually have direct access to the lake. Anyway, these sites right up in here, I didn't really make much note on those. I know that they're still full hookup, but they do not have access to the lake, obviously, because you're not on the lake side. But you'll just have to look at the reservation system to see the links on those sites. And I was actually surprised that some of these sites were actually much bigger than what they appeared according to the website. So just be sure you check your reservation and the length of the sites and everything. One more thing I wanted to add, there's a lot of trails that were back here behind the spillway that actually go along this creek. While you're back there, if you're looking for something to do with your children, look for fossils. We found quite a few fossils in the rocks just that were in the creek bed down there. So that's something fun you can do also if the water's not flowing very hard. Anyway, guys, I hope this information helps you plan a better trip. And as always, get out there with your families, have fun, be safe, and God bless.